Alicia from Your Self Love Coach, and I want to give you a tool right here in the moment on how you can manage with your anxiety and what you can actually say to yourself when you are feeling anxious that can just stop the anxiety in its tracks. This is a really amazing and proven technique that can help you. And before I delve into what it is that we can say to ourselves to help kind of put that anxiety at a stop, is anxiety comes from thinking or worrying about something in the future and not knowing if we will be able to cope with that thing in the future. If we think about something happening in the future that's upsetting for us, but we know fundamentally we will cope with this and that we've done really hard things before, suddenly if you think about that and just take a moment to be like, I know that I can cope with hard things. This might happen, but I can cope with hard things. All of a sudden, the anxiety is like, it can quieten down. But when we feel like we can't cope with the hard stuff, that is when that anxiety has the option to just run absolutely wild. So you might think to yourself, in the future, what happens if I separate from my partner? What happens if that happens? And sometimes to try and get those answers, we want really affirmative answers, and we search for things and we try and find things to give us the answers in hope that we will relieve that anxiety. However, we can't relieve that anxiety by knowing the future because we're never going to find out whether that's going to happen or not. But what we can say to ourselves is, I may break up with my partner in the future. I actually don't know the answer to this, and I will never know the answer to this. But what I do know is that there's times in my life where I have been through really hard things and I survived those hard things. I actually got through it. I know that there's times I've been very sad, I've been depressed, or I've been angry, I've been so frustrated, I've been really hurt, I felt rejected, and I got through all of those times. I will cope, and I can cope with hard things. And just by telling yourself that you can cope, that you will get through it, it helps relieve the anxiety immediately. And you can also treat your anxiety as almost like a little visitor. And it sounds really funny, but sometimes when I feel anxious, I imagine like this little elf of anxiety, like a small elf, and his name is Anxiety, and he'll come and sit down and he'll come and sit on my lap. And I say to him, "Hi Anxiety, you've come to visit me." He's separated from me. I'm not anxious, but anxiety has come to visit. You're not an anxious person, but anxiety has come over to see you, to talk to you. So we want to acknowledge that it's there. It's like, I know you're there. I know that you've come to visit, but I also know that I'm going to be able to cope through hard things because I've coped through hard things before and I got through it, and I've felt these feelings before and I managed a way to get through it. So by talking to yourself in this new way, and it's something so small, but when we acknowledge that, separate it from ourselves and tell ourselves that, we know we can get through the really hard stuff, that changes everything in the moment. That changes how we feel, it gives us the power, makes us feel empowered to handle hard stuff that comes our way. So I hope that gives you a little bit of food for thought, and let me know the next time you're anxious if you can say that to yourself. And just treat your anxiety as a separate presence from you. You can think of anxiety however you want it to be. I would love to hear how you go. Thank you.